Yes, I salute you all. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. So basically today we are under constitutional history, and the topic of concern or the topic of emphasis that we are going to look at, we are going to look at the 1953 to 55 Kabaka crisis. Basically, nevertheless, what you have to know, you must relate it to the events that happened some time back. The 19 Uganda Agreement, the 1902-1920 orders in council, the 1920 to 1930 Lataka grievances. You correlate so that you can get the gist or some of the causes, so that you can relate and you understand the crisis more better. And basically here what you have to bear in mind or what you have to put in mind is that here the people or the people from the Buganda people, the people from the kingdom, were biased by the protectorate by this time. Realize and what you have to know the preamble or the introduction of it in the year of 1952 in January. That's when Sir Andrew Cohen was sent to the protectorate to be the head of the protectorate as the governor. You get. So when he came as a governor, he came with his policies. You understand? As any person that comes in the protectorate comes with what? With new policies. Even if you're a leader anywhere, you come with your own policies. So he came as a governor in the what? In the province or in the protectorate. First of all, for him, he wanted education and training of what? Of the people of Uganda. And also to justify of the Buganda people to be what? To be involved in the central government. You get? And also realize that nevertheless, we also say that the collective responsibility of Uganda and other what? Aspects. That's why in the March 1953, he signed a joint memorandum with the Kabaka, whereby they had to speculate that 860 out of the 89 members of the Luchiko to be elected Buganda, Buganda's position in the central government or in the protectorate, the collective responsibility of Buganda in other aspects, education, health, soil conservation, forest reservation, and also the appointment of the Luchiko members or the ministers. They have to be approved by what? By the Luchiko before the appointment, basically. And nevertheless, realized in the year of 1952 when Kabaka Mutesa II had went to England at Cambridge to have education, realized that they disrespected him in a way that they didn't recognize him on the coronation of what? King Elizabeth. What does this imply or what does this mean? It is a disrespect to the natives. It is a disrespect to Uganda at large. You get? So put that in mind or bear that. Understand it was a blow to the kingdom itself. Realized actually in 1953, the sole purpose of Sir Andrew Cohen, it was to make a federal government in the Republic of, in the Protectorate, something that could make the Kingdom of Ghana to lose its position or to rule, actually to lose its stability or to supersede other provinces. Realize that there is a famous speech that was made by the Secretary of State. That famous speech that called for unification of all protectorate states in the East Africa. Actually, this speech is one of the sole causes of the crisis. First of all, it undermined the tribal institutions. You understand? It undermined the tribal institution. Secondly, it said actually for you making a unitary form of governance, the protectorates around, it implies that authority can only be given to the central government, of which other institutions, for example, the kingdoms, the tribal institution, cannot make something without getting authority from the what? From the central government. Something that the Buganda people and the king himself knew that he would lose what? He would lose power to the central government. He would be disrespected, he will not be recognized. You understand? So put that in mind. And basically that's one of the sparking of the what? Of the members, the sparking of the crisis, basically. And also not in mind or bear in mind, when you follow this crisis, realize that by the year or before that year, the Sir Andrew Cohen came on table with the Kabaka to issue certain reforms, of which the reforms were to follow the what? To or to conform with the protectorate regulation or the forms that were put on table, to send his representative, to Legico, get, and also to ensure that it doesn't violate any what regulations following the policies that were, or the reforms that were brought by Sir Andrew Cohen. But however, the Chico denied that. You understand? The Chico denied it. After the Chico denying it, it is something that made a violent spark off in the kingdom, whereby they said the Chico denied and told the Kabaka to boycott the Legico, not to send representatives there. In this essence, realize that the Kabaka followed the advice of the Luchiko, whereby he denied sending representatives on the what? On the Legico, claiming that it was it was done directly, of which they wanted a policy that was indirect. You get? And another thing, what you have to realize or what you have to bear in mind is that when these people failed, or when the Kabaka failed to abide by the policies of the what? Of the protectorate, realize that when you relate to Article 6 of the 19 Uganda Agreement, that caused that the Kabaka could only be recognized as a native ruler once he abides by the policies of the protectorate. In this essence, he had failed to abide by the policies, something that made him, or something that made Sir Andrew Cohen to revoke or to withdraw that article. You understand? And basically here, the Kabaka had become a normal man. You understand? Of which someone was a leader, now is a common man. Okay, realize Kabaka had become a local man, something that was a disrespect to the kingdom. Okay, the withdrawal of Article 6 is one of also causes of what? Of the crisis. And also another thing, after the withdrawal, they brought the emergency laws that called for the deportation. The Kabaka was deported as a result. You understand? Since he had failed to abide by the what? By the rules of the protectorate. The deportation is also a cause of the crisis. The deportation of the Kabaka to exile. Realize that the kingdom remained yearning, and now the protectorate government gave power to the Luchiko to appoint the new king, of which the Luchiko had failed at first. But however, trying the emergency rules and the regulations that were improvised, realize that they elected regents that were acting by then. You get? But the demand of the Kabaka was at a high rate. You get? Something that you realize that there is a case of Mukungwa versus Mukubira. Mukwaba versus Mukubira. You understand that case of Mukubira? It was about the deportation or the deportation regulations. You get? Many people felt that the deporting of the Kabaka once was not authentic and was not ethical. You get? The people started demanding their Kabaka, just as many Baganda people do nowadays. Once they don't see Kabaka, they demand for him. Can relate it to the other previous times where the Kabaka was the oracle. Once he went missing, which means the people had to run wild. You get? So basically, those are some of the rules or what happened there after the deportation. Then afterwards, realized that Sir Andrew Cohen, together with his protectorate people, realized that they had to do what? They had to sit in a consensus. You understand? They had to sit on the consensus so that they can understand each other. You get? That's how they made the what? He called for a meeting at what? At Namirembe. Actually, the committee that he formulated was known as the Hanok Committee. You understand? At Namirembe. And this committee was to ensure to look at the future progress of Buganda Kingdom. You understand? To look on how the policies can be made better. You understand? To look on how the progress on how the Kabaka can be what? Brought back to the region. You get? That's why this agreement, the agreement that was made, the 1955 Namirembe agreement, was made whereby the Kabaka coming in force was supposed, for it to be in force, the Kabaka had to come for it to be what? In force. You get? That's why we realize that it came into existence once the Kabaka returned in the province. And once the Kabaka turned in the province, realized that it was regarded as the Uganda's what? Constitution by then. That 1955 what? Kabaka crisis. So the 1955 Buganda Agreement. You get? So when you realize that the kabaka tabled certain policies, first of all, the policies that were made, or the preamble of this 1955 agreement, was that Her Majesty, actually, it was Her Majesty not to revoke the issue of making East Africa or the protectorate state as a federal states, unifying them. Her Majesty was not the one in charge of that statement that was made by the Secretary of State. Actually, that agreement first revoked that statement that it was not made by Her Majesty. Secondly, it was made that the chiefs all the chiefs could be dismissed and appointed by the Buganda government. You get? And also the chiefs and the chiefs and the ministers were only answerable to the Ruchiko, not the Kabaka. You get? And also the Kabaka had to send representatives that he elected to the Legico, basically. You get? So note that in mind, basically. And also realize that out of this, the agreement that was signed, it is also a cause of the what? Of the crisis. Basically, that was signed by that moment. It is one of the causes of the crisis. Realize that nevertheless, how much all these things, all these sequences happened, realize that the Kabaka gained powers from the agreement. That's why realize that this agreement that was signed, it later superseded or it engineered certain reports, the wild meat and the monster what reports 1961. By that time, you get it. Actually, it is also engineered the birth of political parties. Political parties came in place. The KY, the DP, the UPC, they came in place. You get it. Also engineered many more events, as we shall see. You get, but nevertheless, the 1953 crisis came as a result of the speech, the deportation, the emergency laws that were put in place, the disrespect of the Kabaka, the Queen Elizabeth II coronation, the signing of the agreement, and also what you have to realize is that some of the policies that were signed in the agreement, or the impact that later Buganda being independent also, Bugandans need to be independent. Buganda wanted to be independent. Buganda wanted to secede because it felt that it is superior. You understand? And also here the regulations also under the agreement, it was to bring back Article 6 of the 19 Buganda Agreement, whereby the recognition, remember they had withdrew it, so they had to bring it back. The Kabaka to be recognized as a native what? Ruler by the protectorate. You get? So basically note that in mind about the 1953 to 55 Kabaka crisis, basically. But other than that, thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel and like the videos. Thank you.